You know, I wasn't particularly looking forward to this game, but now that I've got it, I'm actually quite excited to play it. So let's see what they've got for us. Fuck off!
I am Gaul, and your light is mine.
I mean, it's not like you can't see it, you know? It's right there, next to the disc. It's not like you're gonna miss it. Buy our expansions! Okay, so full disclosure, I've played the first Destiny's beta, but not the full game. So anything I say comparing this game to the previous one, I try to avoid comparisons because I think it's slightly unfair, but any comparisons I make, it's purely within the confines of my personal experience with the beta and what other people have said about the first game. So the Traveller turned up ages ago, did some magic stuff, and has been sat above the last human city ever since, protecting it like a big white marble. Though how it protects the city is a point of contention for me, since it seems to do fuck all, and humanity is relatively safe.
But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
The Red Legion get the bright idea, hey, maybe we should attack! The bad guy leaves the Guardians lifeless by trapping the Traveller and literally kicking you off his command ship. There's the obligatory slow walking while injured sequence, some basic grunt work without your powers, and then you get your powers back. Seriously, what was the point in taking them away? So what's the game like? Well, the first things you'll notice are the music and the visuals. They are awesome. The music ranges from calm and grand to exciting and epic. And you can't deny the environments are stunning, from the sweeping forests of Earth to the contrasting colours of Nessus. The art team were clearly allowed to go nuts. The look of the enemies are varied, but the character models are okay. To be fair though, you'll be spending far too much time shooting them to notice. Speaking of shooting, the combat is solid. Weapons feel heavy and powerful, with Bungie's trademark all over it. Fans of Halo and the first Destiny's combat will feel right at home here. Weapons are divided into three categories: kinetic, energy and power. Kinetic weapons tend to be more reliable, good all-rounders. Energy weapons tend to be smaller but always have elemental damage, making them better versus shields. Power weapons boast massive damage, but ammunition is extremely limited. And the developer this time thought to include swords, after the Sword of Crota popularity most likely. They appear as power weapons, and yes, they do use ammo. Now before you get to the game itself, you'll have to create a character based on one of three classes: Titan, Hunter or Warlock. Now this class system is both a strength and weakness of the game in my opinion. You see, every character class behaves like a rifleman. Now the advantage of this is that every single Guardian class can hold their own in a firefight. The problem is that they all feel very similar to each other. They all have the same double jump glide style manoeuvring, they all have grenades, they have their own individual spin on the movement and grenade types, but they're all very similar. And the character creator is very lacking. There aren't many options, and the options that are there are okay, but faces, colours, extras, They're all prefixed, even the colour palettes are prefixed. There's no customization as such. The like of Warframe and DC Universe have far better build options. And those are free to play games. And each of the 3 major classes each get 3 subclasses, which help you to vary up your playstyle. The only thing that sets your characters apart, truly apart, is maybe one extra ability and their ultimate ability. Although for me the powers take too long to recharge, meaning you'll be spending almost all of your time in every single fight using guns rather than your powers. You might think I'm complaining too much about this, but the character powers are appropriate for each class, and they are powerful. The Titan has a low barrier that you can hide behind to reload your gun, the Hunter can turn invisible, the Warlock can provide healing or damage buffs. My personal favourite is the Warlock and the Stormcaller subclass. These powers may take a while to recharge, but they pack a hell of a punch.
Modular mine neutralized.
You know how in the first game you started at the tower, you picked a mission, and then you flew over there and had to sit through an interminably long loading screen to get to the location? You went somewhere, you shot some bad guys, and then you had to sit through another interminably long loading screen to get back to the tower. You know that you had to do that for every single mission in the first game? You don't have to do that anymore. The loading times are much better. And the maps? The maps are open world. Yeah! There's multiple landing sites, you can choose where to land. There's side missions called adventures. Later there are patrols, which are just kill a certain number of this enemy type, as well as random encounters. And other guardians or players wander the areas randomly at the same time as you. Players frequently form up on random encounters when a tank drops out of the sky.
That's the last scorch cannon. Raiding parties may get their claws on these.
Speaking of other players, it is possible to form groups with other players and tackle, well, anything together. But Destiny still hasn't managed to get its social aspect down. There's no text chat, there's no voice chat outside of groups. The hub area where you'll spend a bit of time, the farm, is laughably called a social space. Bollocks. There's nothing social about this game. Warframe and DC Universe have better social features than this. And oh, by the way, did I mention they're free to play? Fortunately, you can play all of the game's content as a single player, well, most of it. Obviously, some stuff you still get grouped up, unlike the first game, which forced you into a fire team of 3, whether you liked it or not. This game actually gives you a choice between single player or multiplayer. The Guardians themselves, the NPCs in the cutscenes, they're still as stoic and as dull as ever. Except for Cade.
Ikora, if you tell me this is a practical joke, well, it kills me to say it, but I would be really impressed.
Impressing you, Cade, is the easiest thing I'll do all day.
Let's get serious, people.
Zavala, this is my serious face. Can't you tell?
Goddess bless the person who decided to put Cade into this game. He enlivens a room just by being there. Not just on his own, of course, but he's always with other people. So you not only get him, but you get their reaction to him. I love it.
But it won't be easy sneaking in.
Oh, we're done sneaking. If there's one thing I've learned from Cade, it's the value of a grand entrance.
This is great. Anyone want a hug? Hugs? No? No hugs.
The bad guys get cutscenes as well in this. They get a bit of story development. The only problem is that what limited development they do get, it doesn't influence the story in any way. You could be totally oblivious to their conversations, and you wouldn't be missing anything. By the way, did the other Guardians not ask you how you got your light back? I mean, have they not seen all these other light-using Guardians running all over the place? Or is it that your main character's an arsehole? Hey, how'd you get your light back? Get lost! Aww. I want my light. The enemy factions are okay. The Red Legion are big space rhinos, the Fallen are gangly scavengers, but there's no real difference between them in a fight. The Vex walk towards you but don't stop walking towards you, making them a bit unnerving. The Taken are members of the other groups possessed or something, I don't know. But they can also teleport like crazy and multiply, increasing their numbers without warning. It's clear the developer was trying to introduce some variety among the factions, with half-decent results. But without any in-game lore? Yeah, there's still no in-game lore. I mean, they dropped that whole go look it up on the internet idea, as if that was ever a good idea, to ask people to literally leave your game to find out more about it. But they still haven't put it in the game. But without any in-game lore, I don't know or care about the different races' backgrounds. They're just differently coloured targets. But let's talk about the real reason you come to Destiny 2. The loot. Remember how you had to pick up engrams, take them back to the tower, and decrypt them? Remember the loading times? And how the colour or grade of the loot never matched the colour of the engram the item dropped out of? Fuck you, Cryptarch! This time, loot drops on the ground, you pick it up, and you can equip it straight away. I know! Such a novel concept. Some of the stuff you still have to identify through Cryptarch. It's some legendaries and exotics, but it's tiny. Over 99% of all the loot you pick up, you can use right away. Getting more loot is satisfying this time, instead of bloody tedious. Leveling from level 1 to 20, 20 being the maximum, took me less than 14 hours, but that was with doing a few hours of side activities as well, so level 20 should take about between 8 and 10 hours for you to reach. That's when you reach what is referred to as the endgame content. You still have to complete the campaign, but more stuff opens up past this point, higher level missions and such. You'll also gain access to customising your ship's paint job, and you'll get access to your first Sparrow. But why the game takes so bloody long to give you the Sparrow, which is basically a Star Wars speeder bike, is beyond me. You have to wait until level 20? Really? The maps are clearly designed for this vehicle, and the landing sites are not that close together. As you travel around the various planets, you'll earn badges and other random stuff you can turn in for additional rewards. You can only earn the rewards past level 20, but you can earn the badges anytime you're leveling up, and it helps make random activities more relevant to your continued progression. Every time you earn a level past level 20, instead of getting a level, you earn a bright engram, a collection of mainly cosmetics, including shaders. Microtransactions! Ta-da! Or should that be cha-ching? If you buy the biggest amount of the game's bullshit currency silver as you can, and you buy as many engrams as you can, because buying in bulk is cheaper, then it works out at about a rate of £1.10 per engram. If you buy the smallest unit of everything, which is the most expensive, it's about £1.80. And bearing in mind that this time around, shaders are one-time use only items. They're consumables. Once you apply them to a weapon or a piece of armour, they're gone. And at the rate you get loot in this game, in 10 minutes that item will be replaced by something better, which means your shader's gone as well. And also bear in mind that bright engrams that these shaders drop from are random loot boxes. You won't get the shaders you want you'll get the shader that the bloody game gives you. So basically, it's between £1 and £2 for a randomised cosmetic that I can't even keep. Fuck off! I'm not against microtransactions per se, but a lot of full price games these days are taking the piss. What else can you do at the end game? Well, there are strikes. Random levels the game matches you into a team of 3 for, if you haven't already got one. You fight through the hordes, you take down the boss, you get a ton of loot. It actually spills out of the chest this time, and yeah, it can get addictive. Then there's the Crucible, which opens up early on in the game. The Crucible is the game's PvP arena, where you challenge other players to random 4v4 matches. I thought the smaller team sizes would harm the PvP, but it's actually good fun. It's more focused. Make sure you stay together though, otherwise you tend to get slaughtered.
Fire team that fights together stays together.
And finally, let's talk about the expansion pass. Well, what's on it? Well, you get expansions 1 and 2. What's expansions 1 and 2? No fucking idea. Although I'm guessing it's something to do with these guys. Otherwise, why else would they show up at the end of the game for no reason? You know, this is very similar to the bright engrams and loot boxes in general, in fact, in games. You don't know what you're paying for up front. I mean, the expansion pass is 30 quid. It's not exactly a small payment. And we don't know what we're getting. Maybe when the expansions come out, we'll be able to make a reasonable, more informed decision and say whether it's actually worth it. But for now... And so to the final score. I had fun with this game. It is limited though. You do the same thing over and over again. You go here, you shoot these bad guys. You go there, you shoot these bad guys. You pick an item up. You go here, you shoot the bad guys. You go there, you shoot the bad guys. And occasionally, bit of excitement, you flip a switch. Savour that moment when it happens. But what this game is good at, the combat, and this time round the loot system. If you're just looking for a game that has the excellent combat of Halo and marries it with the rich and rewarding loot system, the kind of thing that Diablo 3 and Borderlands uses, if you want that kind of fusion in your game, look no further. This is perfect for you. The game is repetitive, but I had fun with it even so, even leveling up past level 20. When you're at level 20, you'll be at about a power level of 200. And then you start getting more and more gear and it creeps up slowly. It does have the effect of dragging you in, and there's enough side activities and enough variety for the reason for them for it to be fun and engaging to keep on creeping your power level up bit by bit. Destiny 2, in my opinion, gets a 7 out of 10. This is a good game. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I wouldn't mind playing it some more. If I had any spare time to play it, which I don't. So that was Destiny 2, 7 out of 10, good game, liked it, wouldn't mind spending more time with it. And hopefully that expansion pass will prove to be worth its money, but only time will tell. See you next time.